So, welcome back to the next Breeders' Cup video. I apologize for the lighting situation. I only use natural light, so that's why. This is going to be for the sprint. It is at 6 furlongs for 3-year-olds and up. There is a full field of 14 entered, plus there are two also eligibles. So let's get right into the field. Number 1 is the officer for Seeking the Sheriff. Edwin Maldonado will ride for Ron Ellis. He won the Catella and was third in the Pirate's Bounty. He was also third in the Bing Crosby. And before that Bing Crosby, he was on a 4-win race streak. I'm not really 100%. I don't know a lot about him, but he is a West Coast horse, and West Coast is the defending champ. I'll get to the defending champ in a little bit. So not really 100% sure what to make out of him. Number 2 is Indianapolis. He's by Medaglia d'Oro. Mike Smith will ride for Bob Baffert. 3 for 3 in his career. A maiden and allowance. And in between the maiden and allowance, he won the San Pedro in his second start. Going against the big boys here, 3-year-old. We'll have to see. There is another 3-year-old in this race who is not really sure what to think about him. He might be a little bit better just based on who he's faced. The other 3-year-old, but this horse is undefeated, and so we'll have to see how well he exactly does. And plus, he has a stablemate in this race, who is the defending champ. Number 3 is Windfire. Jamie Spencer will ride for David Brown. This is the first of 2 Europeans in this race, I believe. No, he might just be the only European, because there is one more foreigner, but he's not he was born in Europe, but he's not representing Europe. Yeah, he's the only European in this year's sprint. He's by Distorted Humor, so dirt should not be a problem. 5th in the Petit Corvette, and 7th in the King George. Windfire, as I said, is by Distorted Humor. Let me just double check something. See what kind who he's out of. He's out of an AP Indy mare, who is a full sister to Majestic Warrior. Majestic Warrior won the Hopeful at 2 before becoming a very good sire. Of course, he sired Princess of Silmar. 6 furlongs, well within his scope, even though AP Indies tend to like longer. Majestic Warrior was an exception to that rule, I believe. Number 4 is the defending champion, Secret Circle. Martin Garcia will ride for Bob Baffert. He is by Eddington, of course, defending champion. Second and third in the Palos Verdes, and standing as sprint championship respectively, right behind Golden Sense in the ladder. He could be the next Midnight Loot. If you're not sure exactly who Midnight Loot is a real quiet colt who Bob Baffert also trained. He won the sprint in 2007 at Monmouth in the slop. And then he did it again in 2008, and with that one, he only had one race. Two races, I think, in 2008 where he ran. Might have only been one beforehand. In that race, he lost to Lewis Michael, whose nephew I will be talking about in a little bit, because he is in this race. So we'll have to see whether he can match Midnight Lou in having like one or two races in between his Breeders' Cup wins. And he is actually the only horse in this year's race who is going for his third Breeders' Cup win. Beholder and Wise Dan would have also been going for their third wins in Breeders' Cups, but unfortunately they got injured and then ill in court in the case of Beholder, injured in the case of Wise Dan. Secret Circle won the now defunct Juvenile Sprint when he was 2, so we'll see if he can get that third Breeders' Cup win. Number 5 is Private Zone. Martin Pedroza will ride for Alfredo Velasquez. He is by Macho Uno. Defended his Vosburg title and then 4th in the Turf Monster. But did not run so great in last year's sprint. He was 10th in that race. But we'll I'm not 100% sure what if he can take that East Coast form and put it onto the West Coast. Alfredo Velasquez is basically filling in for Doug O'Neill. His owners are another interesting group. When I said about Carve being formerly owned by Bodie Miller in the Dirt Mile, Private Zone is co-owned. Two of his co-owners are the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks and a former jockey by the name of Renee Douglas. Renee Douglas rode Dreaming Havana to her 2006 Juvenile Fillies win. Unfortunately, a few years later, he was involved in an accident at Arlington, and he is now paralyzed. So he has taken up ownership in this horse with several friends of his, and they're called Good Friend Stable. So sentimentally, he will be basically the favorite Private Zone sentimentally. Betting wise, no, I don't think he will do well. Number 6 is Rich Tapestry. He is by Holy Roman Emperor. Olivier Dulas, I believe is how I pronounce his name. Rides for Michael Chain. He is from Hong Kong. He was born in Ireland, I believe, Rich Tapestry, but he's done his best running in Hong Kong. They have turf, and I think they have synthetic and dirt there. He is 5 for 6 on what we consider the main track. Won the Santa Anita Sprint in his last race, and then he was 8th in the Sprint Cup in Hong Kong. And big thing is that he runs without Lasix. Lasix is a anti-bleeding medication that's legal in the U.S., but it's illegal overseas, except for Canada. I believe it's legal in Canada. but everywhere else it is not allowed. When horses come to the U.S., some of them take Lasix, some of them do not take Lasix. Rich Tapestry, I believe I've heard that the Hong Kong Racing Association basically is not allowing him to take Lasix because it can be a masker for other drugs. But that's not here for there. It hasn't affected him. Matter of fact, he might even be at a slight advantage because Lasix also, I believe, dehydrates horses. But I'm not a vet, so I can't say that for sure. But I think he has a serious chance to win this race, and we'll see if he can do it again and whether he heads to Dubai next year. Number 7 is Michael Margarita. Miko Margarita. Rosie Napravnik will ride for Steve Asmussen. He is by Runaway and Hyde. Won the Remington Sprint Cup and Bird Memorial. And hasn't been worse than 4th since July. Of last year. Another one, I'm not sure. He's been running, I guess, part of Asmussen's Midwestern Texas strain. We'll have to see what happens with him. Number 8 is Palace. Cornelio Vasquez will ride for Linda Rice. He is by City Zip, 3rd in the Vosburg, but he had won the Forgo and has won 3 of his last 5. He also won the Vanderbilt. Not sure exactly what happened in the Vosburg, but kind of faltered there against Private Zone. We'll have to see if he can take that New York form and bring it to California, though. Number 9 is Salutos Amigos. Javier Castellano will ride for David Jacobson. He is by Salute the Sarge, 4th in the Vosburg, 2nd in the allowance, 3rd in 2 other stakes races this year, but they were New York. They were both in New York. Don't really particularly care for the trainer, but I'll leave it at that. But yeah, decent chance, but I'm not sure if he will be anywhere near the end of the race. Number 10 is Big Mucker. Tyler Bays will ride for Richard Boatas, I believe is pronounced his name. He is by Bo Genius. Won the Bing Crosby and was 6th in the Pat O'Brien. Pat O'Brien was probably just too long for him. Should enjoy the shortening up to 6 furlongs again. Winner 3 out of his 5, like Palace. I think return. I don't know how he'll do on dirt. Because the Pat O'Brien and the Bing Crosby were both on Poly, and of course Del Mar's ripping that out after their new fall meet to go back to dirt. So I really don't know how well he'll do on dirt. Number 11 is Bakken. Gary Stevens will ride for Chad Brown. He is by Distorted Humor. Won an allowance and was 2nd in the True North. And what's very interesting about him is that his sister, Just Whistle Dixie, who was the second choice in the 2009 Kentucky Oaks before she scratched, of course, turned out to be good thing she scratched because no one was going to be catching Rachel Alexandra that day. But last year, she was the winning dam of the juvenile. Her son, New Year's Day, won that race. Again, shouldn't be a problem. Sprint, but we'll just have to see if he can follow in his nephew's hoofprints in winning a Breeders' Cup race. Number 12 is Fast Anna. John Velasquez will ride for Kathy Ritvo. Of course, the defending classic trainer, Mucho Macho Man, has retired, so this will be her Breeders' Cup horse this year. He is by Medalla de Oro, second in the Gallant Bob and King's Bishop. His sire was second in the Classic, and his dam won the Juvenile Fillies. And I said that I was going to be talking about going back to Private Zone. The horse that Renee Douglas rode, Dreaming of Anna, Fast Anna, that's his mom. So, again, Secret Circle lost to his uncle Midnight Lou lost to his uncle. Secret Circle was trying to be like Midnight Lou. I think Fast Anna is the better of the 2 3-year-olds. Of course, Indianapolis being the other one, just the fact that he has more stakes starts under his belt. That being said, from what his Gallant Bob really didn't look that great. If he can show that King's Bishop form, that will be fantastic, and I think he will have a serious chance to be in the top 3. I don't think he'll win this year. Like I said about Tapiture in the Dirt Mile, I think next year will be his year. But I think he has a chance to be in the top 3 possibly in this year's sprint. Number 13 is Work All Week. Florent Geroux will ride for Roger Balgerman. He is by City Zip. Won the Phoenix and was second in the Addison Kamek. But that was on Poly. Undefeated on conventional dirt. I don't think in the sprint post position really matters as much. I mean, it matters because it's a shorter race. But I think with his running style, he likes to come from behind anyway. So being outside won't be a huge problem. And I think he has a serious chance to win this year's sprint. And last but not least, number 14 is Bourbon Courage. Ricardo Santana will ride for Kellen Gorder. He is by Lionheart, allowance winner in his last, but he was 6th in the Pimlico Special. And he has shown promise in the past to be a stakes horse. Unfortunately, he's been hurt a lot, which kind of sucks for him. But I think if he can pull it off, he's the type of horse who can pull it off. So that's the field for the Breeders' Cup. There are 2 AEs, Bohemian Squall, who will be ridden by Rafael Verano if he gets in. David Fox trains. He is by Gone West. 1 allowance, optional claimer, and was 3rd in Tail of the Cat. 6th in last year's Breeders' Cup Sprint. And then Indeccidental, Mario Gutierrez will ride for Ben Cecil. He is by Leighton Heat. 5th in the Stan Anita Sprint Championship, and 7th in the Pat O'Brien. So your field, once again, for the Breeders' Cup Sprint is number 1, Seeking the Sheriff, number 2, Indianapolis, number 3, Windfire, number 4, Secret Circle, number 5, Private Zone, number 6, Rich Tapestry, number 7, Michael Margarita, number 8, Palace, number 9, Suitos Amigos, number 10, Big Mocker, number 11, Bakken, number 12, Fast Anna, number 13, Work All Week, number 14, Berber Courage, and then the 2 AEs, Bohemian Squall, and Accidental. So up next will be the picks. So now for the picks. To win, I like Work All Week. I like how he's never lost on conventional dirt. I believe that Secret Circle has a chance. Rich Tapestry has a chance. But I just feel like Work All Week is, when it comes to dirt, he is the main man. So I'm going to go with Work All Week to win. To finish second, I like Rich Tapestry. I just like how he put away Secret Circle and Golden Sense in the SA Sprint Championship. Certainly liked US Racing. In a way, I kind of also hope he wins. Because it would be neat to see a winner from Hong Kong win the Breeders' Cup. So I have him for my place spot. And for third show, I have the defending champ. I just feel like that he is better than Big Mocker for the West Coast horses. Palace, I'm not 100% sure how he'll take to the West Coast. Private Zone, really, there's a reason why he went to the East Coast last year. Windfire, don't know how he'll take to dirt, even though he should take the dirt fine. But yeah, that's why I'm going with him for third. And then for my dark horse, I have Fast Anna, just for the fact that he has the defending classic trainer. Jockey is very good, one of the best in the U.S. And the fact that his sire has had success in the classic, and then his dam won the juvenile filly. So I think having that Breeders' Cup pedigree will be helpful for him. So again, to win, I like Work All Week. The place, I like Rich Tapestry. And to show, I like Secret Circle. My dark horse is Fast Anna. So that is it. I know this was a long video, but I had a lot of horses to go through. And thankfully, the next video should be a tiny bit shorter because it is going to be the Filly and Mare Sprint. I will talk about that race in the next video. So until then, bye.